Oh boy, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. We'll give it a shot. I probably should have prepared everything on OBS. This match is of SlawpiPawpi on YouTube against a Bowser. Can't full screen. How do I full screen? I forgot. Well, let's just roll with it. Okay, so there's no commentary, which is good. Okay, that's cool. Mewtwo's fair has a really distinct sound effect, so I think I can pick up on when those happen in neutral. I'm guessing that Sloppy decided to go for a Shadow Ball and approach with it. He gets upbeat though. Why is this? There's going to be a lot of situations in Ultimate where you land a hit in neutral, and you're still going to be minus after the fact. So your opponent has the opportunity to trade another move back with you. And I think that happened here with the up B, because I can't imagine that you would be plus after doing a Rising Fair. I'm guessing it was a Rising Fair, because if it was a Falling Fair, he would have comboed into it somehow. I'm guessing that's how this happened. Yeah, it seemed like some kind of scramble situation. We have the air dodge here. And then a shield. That could have been a roll. Some kind of tilt. I'm guessing up tilt. And then in the ensuing scramble, Bowser gets another up B at a shield. You want to add a lot of structure to your neutral, because scramble situations generally favor the person who mashes more, or the person who has mashier buttons. That's going to be Bowser in this case. Okay. I hear another air dodge after the FB. This might be a habit. I'm not sure. We'll have to check as the match progresses to see if that situation pops up again. Okay, charging a Shadow Ball. I can't tell what's going on. The thing is, I can't tell who's shielding. So, we'll just have to wait until something discernible happens. Okay. How did Mewtwo get to ledge? How did Sloppy get to ledge here? Okay. It seems like Sloppy won neutral first. Like, that sounds like a Bowser getting thrown. So what I'm guessing happened is he threw the Shadow Ball, and then grabbed the shield afterwards. But I don't understand why Sloppy ends up off stage. Oh, he tries to go for an offstage aerial, I think. I'm guessing he tries to go for it. That sounds like a up air or a back air or something like that. In situations like these, where you find your opponent off stage, it's way better to go for a ledge trap than it is to go for an edge guard, because edge guards they never work unless your opponent doesn't have any resources. Ledge trapping always works, but they'll always be able to react to you going off stage if they have their double jump. And instead, it looks like your opponent here is the one who gets to ledge trap you. Granted, he didn't do a ledge trap sequence that covered a lot of options. It sounded like he did a smash attack, but this still could have been bad for you. Scramble, people are getting hit. You can't tell what's going on anymore. Mewtwo's attacks aren't very distinct, sound design-wise, except for fair. That sounds like an F smash. That sounds like an F smash. It feels like there's a lot of scramble situations going on. You'd want to add a little more structure to your neutral, and it sounded like he got another up B. Yeah, this is gonna happen a lot. So it sounded like Mewtwo connected, I'm guessing a down tilt, and then some kind of scramble happens. And then Bowser lands with an up B at a shield. Or not at a shield, but he lands it anyhow. It seemed like instead of trying to cover options, he tried to hit a button immediately. So I think that allowed him to get to the ground. After you hit a down tilt like this, or what I'm guessing was a down tilt, or an up tilt, the best thing to do is to try and wait until your opponent is in a position where you can cover a lot of things by reacting, instead of immediately going for a button. Because then you enter the scramble situation because of the button, and then he gets this up B. As I said, when Bowser's in slight frame advantage, he's gonna go for that. Okay. I guess I didn't hear the air dodge this time, but that was probably because he was off stage. What's going on? A side B? Ooh, that's gonna be the first stock. Let's also try to keep track of how the stocks went. That sounded like a fair. Again, I'm gonna say go for a ledge trap instead of an edge guard. I'm not sure who's grabbing ledge here. It could be Bowser, it could be Mewtwo. That sounded like Bowser did an attack though. So what I'm guessing happened was he went for the back throw, failed the edge guard, and then Bowser landed on stage. he had to grab ledge, and then he had to eat a mix-up here. Thankfully, your opponent isn't going for maximum option coverage here. He's instead going for what sounds like a hard read. You're not getting heavily punished for going for edge guards instead, but if one of these hits, it's not going to be worth it. I think it's generally better to go to ledge than to go on stage with Mewtwo, because up B onto stage is pretty punishable. So it sounded like you threw a Shadow Ball, then he command grabs you somehow. Maybe he jumped over it, I can't tell. Because it didn't look like the Shadow Ball connected, and it looks like, I think Mewtwo shielded. SlawpiPawpi shielded. That's the second time a side B has hit, the first time was the first stock, right? Okay. Oh, this is the first time I think we've heard the Bowser going for a solid ledge trap. You're gonna see this a lot from like Leon especially, or other high-level Bowsers. As soon as you grab the ledge, they'll just they'll shield, and then they'll react to what you do from the ledge, and then they'll up B out of shield. You can always roll backwards with the up B out of shield, that you can cover roll, and then it also works on neutral getup. It works on everything except jump. This is probably the best way to cover, and the easiest way to cover a lot of options with Bowser. You might want to jump against this. And looks like you go for an up B onto stage. Yep, beats you again. I can't tell if that was a true punish or a scramble. It sounded like you landed with your up B, but because here's the problem with up being onto the stage. You're still in a bit of lag, so you're gonna have to do like a defensive option, like shielding or spot dodging or rolling. And then that puts you in a scramble, and as we were saying before, Bowser's generally going to be better in the scramble when he's in slight advantage because of up B. And so that's how I interpret what's going on right here. It's probably sending you off stage here. And again, he have to up B on the stage. The man tries to go for a hard read. Or he tries to punish your up B. So if your opponent tries to hard punish your up B with a laggy move, then you're going to get away with it. But if your opponent tries to punish you with something softer, like going for pressure by moving forward, or with a tilt, you might get caught. Yeah, it sounded like a scramble again. Okay. Okay. How are you gonna take the stock? Oh. I guess you answered my question, but I don't know what move that was. That sounded like a down air, but, well, if that was a down air, then this is the one time that the edge guard worked. I think ledge trapping is still generally more reliable. Well, it's very possible that he's not off stage and he just went for an on-stage down air, or maybe it's not even a down air. And this is the problem with reviewing while blind. I can't tell what's going on. You don't want to get all your kills like this. Most of the time, it seems like both of you guys are finding your kills off of stray hits in neutral, and it would be better to try and milk your advantage state to get a kill setup. It's much more reliable that way. Goodness. I'm not sensing any patterns in neutral. After you connect this move, stand back and like look at what your opponent does after. Most of the time your opponent's habits will come out after you hit them with specific moves. So try to watch out for those instead of trying to rush for the second button. I don't know how accurate my reviews actually are, right? So that's part of the fun. Ooh. Ooh. So he went for the offstage edge guard. That sounded like a back air. This sounded like the startup of a confusion, which now that I think about it, yeah, that sounded like a confusion. First, it seems like you're trying to recover high by getting the lift from the confusion, but the problem with that is it leaves you open to being contested off stage, especially if you go high with it. I don't imagine that you're going low with it. Going low with it is probably a better idea, since if your opponent does the flamethrower to try and two-frame you, you can stall with it, and then delay your up B from there. But then, if you go high and then confusion, if your opponent chooses to edge guard, then this happens. By the way, guys, I have my eyes closed. If I have my eyes open, I see just like the sleeping mask itself, but for some reason I feel the need to like close my eyes while I have the sleeping mask on, which is kind of funny. I don't know why. Okay, where's my keyboard? I don't know what's going on anymore. But a lot of uppies are connecting. Again, I suspect it's because you're getting into a lot of scramble situations. So I guess we should address that. How do you not get hit by uppies at a shield? You have to give your neutral some structure. Here's a couple of ideas to approach your opponents more soundly. You could like do a shadow ball and then see how they react from there. Like do a shadow ball from far away, then dash in and just observe what they do. You could do the same with an approaching down tilt, like an undershot down tilt, like you aim in front of them, so that the down tilt hits if they come forward. But if not, then it gives you an opportunity to just chill out for a second and see how they respond. It's going to take a while to get used to that style of play, but doing small shadow balls and like approaching undershot down tilts are pretty good ways to approach non-committally while maintaining pressure. So try to implement those into your next couple of matches. Ooh, this has happened the second time. This is the second time this has happened. He goes over your shadow ball. Or at least I imagine he's going over it because the shadow ball isn't connecting into anything in your line of sight. And then he command grabs you. This is how you lost the first stock. One thing you could do about this is like feign throwing the shadow ball, like charge it and then shield as he short hops towards you, and then either dash backwards or throw out a move instead. Yeah, that was fair. That was a down air. I don't know who's down air, but that was a down air. Oh, but it makes sense for it to be Bowser's down air here, because if he's at high percent, or like mid-high percent and he got hit by fair, down air seems like a good option for Bowser in this scenario. So look out for this kind of down air, where you send your opponent high above you, Bowser's will try to land with there. Best way to combat this is to either shield it and then punish out a shield, dash backwards, or to stand under a platform. All three of those things could work. What? Okay. Oh, he threw a shadow ball off stage and it connected. This sounded like an F smash, or a down smash. People who dip low against this will not get hit. So this isn't necessarily a reliable kill setup. You want to lessen the number of straight hit kills you get, and increase the number of like kill setup kills you get. You want to see the routes in which you can land kill moves on your opponent from the start of the neutral. This will take a bit of studying on your own, and it will also take a bit of playing against other players and asking them for their opinions on stuff, but it's a place to start improving. I don't know, I want to keep these short, but I just keep talking. Ah, okay. This is the first time I think you've connected a nair like this. You throw a shadow ball, and then your nair catches his option at the shield. This is one of those scenarios where you could look at what your opponent does after getting hit by this nair, and then just keep that in mind, because you'll be able to cover it in later. Okay. So that was the end of the game. I guess the major takeaways from this game were observe what your opponent does after you land a hit that doesn't lead into anything, instead of trying to go for a second button. Ledge trapping is better than edge guarding in most cases. Recover low with confusion. Add some structure to your neutral by using shadow ball and undershot down tilt. And focus on getting kills from advantage state using kill setups instead of from straight hits. Quote unquote kill confirms. Yeah, I hope that helped.